Suffocate everything, they complicate everything, they steal your fate every day, but you can't believe it. Take yourself far away from nothingness, million miles from emptiness. Suffocate everything, they complicate everything, they steal your fate every day, but you can't believe it. Take yourself far away from nothingness, million miles from emptiness. Remember the days of the innocence before it came in waves. Remember the trust, it was blown away into oblivion. Remember love, remember hate, remember everything they said just to break you again. Remember all of your enemies forever and ever.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the preview of Money in the Bank for my WWE 2K20 Universe mode. This is our first pay-per-view. We're going over all of the matches, all of the storylines up to now, and we are just going to recap the last month in Universe mode, starting with the rivalry that stemmed between Team Hell No and Harper and Rowan. This all started out when Daniel Bryan was attacked backstage by Harper and Rowan, and Kane decided to make the save, help Daniel Bryan. So possibly we thought a Team Hell No reunite. But the next week, this all but confirmed it, as Harper and Rowan Harper and Rowan attacked Kane, and Daniel Bryan ended up coming to the rescue, saving Harper, and this basically cemented the fact that Team Hell No was back together for at least one more match at Money in the Bank. And then the week after this, Daniel Bryan marched into the general manager Shane McMahon's office and demanded a match be made between him and Kane and Harper and Rowan. And that was made official. So at Money in the Bank, it will be Team Hell No versus Harper and Rowan. Definitely one of the most heated rivalries so far in Universe mode, as Harper and Rowan are looking for vengeance. But moving on, we've also got the first championship match, another tag team match, the Street Profits taking on the Revival for the Raw Tag Team title to start out, when the Revival were talking about how they were going to restore tag team wrestling. They were going to win the tag titles at Money in the Bank. And Shane McMahon ended up putting them in a qualifying match. And the Revival actually beat Hawkins and Ryder, and at the end of the match, beat both of them down. And so the Revival made a statement there. And then the Street Profits, the following week, they also qualified, and then it was a heated exchange between the two from now on out, as the Revival were talking backstage about how the Street Profits are exactly the kind of team that they want to get rid of in tag team wrestling. They're jokes, they're clowns, they don't belong at the top of the tag team ladder. The Street Profits responded by saying that they were ready and they wanted to beat the Revival, and they were going to be Raw Tag Team Champions. So both teams, highly talented, but in different ways. We'll see which team can walk out of Money in the Bank as the Raw Tag Team Champions. So a pretty standard rivalry there. By the way, tell me what you think about the intro for Money in the Bank. It took a while to make, but I think it turned out very good. As we move on to our next rivalry, Cassius Ohno versus Cedric Alexander. Seems like a kind of respectful battle between the two. Ohno has taken shots at Cedric Alexander, but he's also complimented him. As there you see, Cassius Ohno, he qualified against Rey Mysterio in the first episode of Raw. Then Cedric Alexander beat Robert Roode, qualified, but then a ruthless attack after the match by Cassius Ohno ended up, definitely limiting Cedric Alexander. Hopefully not that much for the pay-per-view. Luckily, they said no major injuries for the pay-per-view, but still definitely a limiting factor. Cedric Alexander said that, when you take shots at me, I am definitely going to fire back. And he said he's going to walk out with that Intercontinental Championship. And then Cassius Ohno fired right back on the last episode of Raw. He basically said he respects Cedric Alexander, but he's going to do whatever it takes to get that that Intercontinental Championship. So at Money in the Bank, these two incredible athletes, Cassius Ohno and Cedric Alexander, will be going head-to-head for the Intercontinental Championship as our next match, Asuka versus Nia Jax. Hasn't been a very blood feud yet. Just a competitive rivalry as Nia Jax, there you see, qualified in week 2 of Monday Night Raw. And she beat Dakota Kai relatively easily. And then the week after that, Asuka won. She was able to qualify, and the match was set. Asuka versus Nia Jax for the Raw Women's title. Two extraordinary athletes in their own rights. And then last week they came face-to-face backstage. Asuka was saying that Nia Jax wasn't ready, and Nia Jax came up, heard what she said, and Nia Jax said, "Yeah, I am ready." So we will find out who will be the first Raw Women's Champion at Money in the Bank. And so the main event match of Money in the Bank as a whole is Roman Reigns versus Alistair Black. This has been a very heated rivalry. Alistair Black qualified against Rusev, but suffered an attack after the match. Luckily was able to escape without any major injuries. And then Roman Reigns qualified the week after on week 3 over Kevin Owens when The Fiend was introduced to the WWE Universe for the first time. And then later that night, Roman Reigns destroyed Alistair Black backstage, spearing him on the concrete, Superman punch, and just beating him down. Black is said to have suffered some injuries there, as then this creepy video promo saying that Alistair Black has had the demon awakened inside of him and that Roman Reigns will pay the price for what he did. Some scary stuff there. As now, there's the match right there for the World Heavyweight Championship. It's Roman Reigns versus Alistair Black. And then, finally, the Viking Raiders versus the New Day. A match that I am certainly excited to see, as in week 1, the New Day regained the SmackDown Tag Team titles over the Authors of Pain, AOP, on SmackDown in a championship match. And then the week after that, the Viking Raiders didn't really qualify. They just won, and they said that they deserved a match. Apparently, the general manager, Shawn Michaels, agreed. He booked this match, and then the week after, when the Viking Raiders won again over Breezango, the New Day came out. They had a quick argument. So far, nothing's gotten violent, but with these two incredible tag teams, something's sure to happen at Money in the Bank. So, this rivalry has been very, very tense. Johnny Gargano versus Bobby Lashley for the U.S. title. Again, same as the last thing. Bobby Lashley gained that U.S. title in the first week in the main event over Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins has not been seen since, as he was beaten down after the match. But luckily for Rollins and everyone else, Johnny Gargano came down to the ring, made the save, throwing Bobby Lashley out of the ring, and Gargano celebrated as the show came to an end. Lashley was obviously not happy with this at all, and he vowed to get revenge. The next week, beating Cole Quinn very easily and saying that that's exactly what's going to happen to Johnny Gargano. And then he proposed a championship match next, just so that he could get his hands on Gargano. And Gargano came down to the ring the week after and said that he was ready for Lashley. And both of them had a little argument there. And then the week after, Lashley took everything so far personally. He attacked Johnny Gargano backstage, tearing him apart. And that has led to this match being one of the most personal matches on the card for Money in the Bank so far. I'm excited to see who will walk out as United States Champion. And now, the Women's Championship on the line. Kairi Sane with her first main roster title shot against Sasha Banks. Here's the story of how it happened. Sasha Banks, in the first episode of SmackDown, maybe the most stacked episode of Universe Mode, She beats Becky Lynch in a very good match. And so she qualified. Then the week after, Kairi Sane was able to qualify. So both women were booked for Money in the Bank. Sasha Banks, being the cocky person that she has turned into, has not taken this very well, as she came down to the ring for a promo, mocking the entrance of Kairi Sane. Something that's definitely frowned upon in wrestling. And then the week after, Sasha Banks was again trash-talking Kairi Sane, and Kairi Sane responded to that by chasing Sasha Banks out of the backstage area and staring her down before their match. That is going to be one great match as well for that SmackDown Women's Championship. And so, the WWE title is on the line between Samoa Joe and Matt Riddle. This rivalry has gotten personal as well. A lot of rivalries have escalated quickly in the last couple weeks, as Matt Riddle beat Brock Lesnar in the main event of SmackDown while he was injured, showing what a great competitor he was on week 2 of SmackDown. And then in week 3, Samoa Joe also qualified for Money in the Bank. And then Matt Riddle and Samoa Joe were booked to face each other. Matt Riddle wanted to have a nice peaceful rivalry between the two. Samoa Joe did not. He attacked Matt Riddle from behind before Matt Riddle had a warm-up match. That led to Big E debuting. But that's besides the point. This match has gotten pretty heated as Samoa Joe has done some damage to Matt Riddle. The doctors are saying that he doesn't have any major injuries, but still, not a good situation to be in heading into the biggest match of your career. Speaking of the biggest match of their career, Bianca Belair is in the Women's Money in the Bank Championship, briefcase match against Bayley, who won it the last year in real life. Or maybe 2 years ago, I guess you would say. As Bayley qualified first against Rhea Ripley. And then Bianca Belair against Ember Moon later. 2 great matches there. Definitely those that you want to check out. Again, the Money in the Bank briefcase matches have not been too heated, but there's still a very competitive spirit among them, as here's the men's Money in the Bank match, Andrade versus Shinsuke Nakamura. We will see who is able to walk out between the two. Both men have been in WWE for a short time, and both men have proven that they have a lot of talent, as Shinsuke Nakamura qualified by beating Finn Balor in the semifinals, and Andrade qualified by beating Ricochet in the semifinals. So 2 high-profile victories for the 2 men. We'll see if they can carry, which one can carry the momentum into Money in the Bank and walk out with a guaranteed title match. And that will do it for our preview of Money in the Bank. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Hope you enjoyed the intro. Money in the Bank should be coming your way fairly soon. Look out for that. But stay safe, everyone. Have a good week, and we'll see you later.